Greetings, everyone. Another video that's going to be started today. The date being let's see, what is today's date? Today's date is the 12th of October. Yes, early in the morning. But this is a momentous occasion here because this is actually the last page of my book, Dragon Force. And this video is going to be just showing my process of how I go about inking or putting in the final lines before coloring. Because this right here is the sketch that I did, that I scanned in. And I'm just going to just show my process here and just finish these lines on the last page, and we're going to call it a wrap. But I don't know when I'm going to post this, but I knew that I was going to do this a long time ago. I said whenever I got to the last page, I was going to record it and just kind of relish the moment, because it's been quite the journey to get here. I actually finished the drawings a long time ago when I was still in South Korea, and that was back in 2018. I used to go to the coffee shops every day, just about every day. So at the coffee shop regularly, just consistently working on these pages. And I knew once I got to this page, this was going to be the end of this particular portion of the book, because it just seemed appropriate. And so I knew this was going to be the last page for this edition. So with that said, I'm not going to have a long introduction, and I don't even know if I'm going to actually keep this exact recording of my voice. It depends on whether or not if I think it's fitting, or I say that because I could be rambling on. I don't really have any particular aim besides just showing this is the last page. But as far as me making this into an informational or some type of how-to video, that wasn't really the purpose, even though I'm going to do it. But anyways, we're just gonna do whatever comes and feels natural. But anyways, the last page, we're excited. We're all excited. We're all happy. Phorcia's happy. That's the main character here. That's about to get things crack-a-lacking. And so you can see here in this little section here, this is the different layers. What I like to do is for each particular character or whatever element that I want to put together, or there's going to be one individual unit. I like to make their own group for itself. And this is this group here in blue, which is labeled PHC, which stands for Phorcia. And this bottom one here that's in blue, I'm going to change it. And I like to put that as BG for the background. And this other layer here, this is the actual sketch. And I just like to label that the OG. This little habit I've got into, meaning the original, right? The original drawing. And the one beneath that is the same one. It's just a bigger size. Once I scanned it in, it was a little bigger. So I wasn't sure if I was going to leave it as at the original size or, keep it at this size. But for the moment, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it at this size here for two reasons. For one, I think it will just fit the book better, and it'll be less for me to draw, or less lines. So let's go ahead and get this started here. And let me make it bigger. And as I said before, Phorcia is excited. She's made it to the last page of her book, and she's amped up, and so am I. So let me start here, and okay. Okay, so let's get it going. Let me make the pencil smaller. I usually keep it at 2, but for these other lines here, depending on how I feel like doing it, sometimes I make it bigger, but I very rarely go over pixel size of 2. So now I'm starting here at her neck. And just going over the lines here. Like so. In this particular scene, they finally made it to the tournament, and they just arrived. And, she's a martial artist, and she's going to be competing in her first tournament. And she's excited. She just pulled up with the fam. I don't really like that fam. I like family. Let me change that. She just pulled up with the family. And she's just noticing all the excitement of the festivity that's going on, and she's pointing over there to her. I guess that would be her right, about the entrance to the tournament. So yeah. Hopefully this won't take too long, because this is the last, like I said before, this is the last page I have to ink, and this is the more tedious process indeed, because the book actually has 146 or 147 pages, and all through the tumultuous and the tumult of the COVID-19 right at its apex. This is what I was doing that entire year of 2020. Diligently going through each page and inking it. That was the most mind-bending work, and it just seemed like it was never going to come to an end. For two times when I had the sketch, when I was just doing it in my sketchbook, which is another, I definitely wouldn't recommend anyone to ever do that, especially in this day and age with technology. There's no need to have such detailed lines in a sketchbook, especially if you know you're gonna make it into if you're gonna color and eventually color it in Photoshop. There's really no point in really having the detailed lines this much in the sketchbook, because it's just going to be a lot more work, and I found out the hard way. But in my own defense, I didn't know any better, because at that time I was drawing digitally then. But as far as making a comic book, how to go about coloring that, I didn't really consider that. I just was considering do the drawings. I did the drawings, but I did it all in my sketchbook. And once I realized what it would take to actually color it in a professional manner, and I knew that I had to ink every single page over, and I pretty much already did that with every page in the sketchbook. So initially, it's like I almost drew them twice. And like I said, I finished this in 2018, and this book probably would have been finished, at least a year ago, if not much more sooner, had I known the process. But you live and learn, of course. But through me not knowing the quote unquote the best practices to get this done, I did learn a lot of things in the process, which was may have been worth it all. I definitely got more efficient just drawing in general, and especially my whole process of digitally drawing. So it was definitely beneficial on that front. Like I said before, I don't know how I'm going to cut this up, because I didn't really intend on a quote unquote script when I was going to do this. I just knew I wanted to record it. So whatever thoughts come into play when I'm doing this, they're just random. Because as you would imagine, when I'm usually drawing, I don't talk. Everything's in my brain, of course. So and this music that's playing in the background, this is that I made a couple days ago. It's quite fitting of another character that I'm gonna post one of these days. I will post it before I post this video. It's quite mellow, and I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, and about this character, Phorcia, here. I mean, I guess, quote unquote, she's the main character. I guess she is, you know, but throughout the time I was writing the story and, you know, drawing the pictures, I always thought that I didn't want to make it so much centered around just one character. Not too much. I mean, I did my best. I mean, there's other main characters, but I just wanted to make sure that it was, it was distributed well with other characters, and I think I did a good job of that. And I do intend on the next portion of the story to be drawn differently. And I specifically drew it in this style because I wanted it to be very the characters to be very lively and have that spunk appeal, if that's the thing. Spunk, to be spunky and just to be real. I don't want to use the word cartoony, but I mean, because it has its own style, I wasn't like trying to imitate anyone's style, but I just wanted the character to be very appealing and in a look that wasn't serious. I don't want a hyper realistic look whatsoever. I guess to relate it to something that's already out there. I thought a lot about how the characters were in Dragon Ball. When you compare like the first season of Dragon Ball, and then you look at Dragon Ball Z, you can see the difference in the different styles there. So this is, of course, she's a young child here, so I wanted to keep it, more cartoony, I guess. I'll just use that word. But I do intend, as she gets older and the story progresses, then the artwork will change and kind of reflect that. So I definitely was very mindful of the style, and I like the style that came out throughout this book. Yeah. But the next chapter will be still very cartoony-like, quote unquote. But I will change it because she's going to be a little bit older, and it's fun to do it in different styles too. I don't want to just be. I think that's another aspect of my book. What I'm trying to do that makes it different. That I didn't really stick to one particular style. I mean, even throughout this book, I mean, if you look carefully, I mean, I know, of course, I drew it, but there are some pages where the style is not uniform. And when I was drawing initially, I was like, oh, it's got to look exactly the same. But then I was like, no, it doesn't. Like, as long as people can tell that it's the same character, that's all that matters. So sometimes it was unintentionally done in different styles, because I would draw it in different days. And some days I would be in a different mood and I would draw different. I didn't want to change, try to force myself to draw a particular style, because I just didn't want to. So, and I think that that made it cool, and at the same time I was still able to come up with a lot of different sub looks or different looks with these characters too that I could use later. So that was cool. yeah. And I must say, I'm quite looking forward to being done with this page, because once this is done, then there will be no more. Then I'll be free to draw whatever I want until I decide to initiate another rigorous sketch